Hey everybody, it is January 25th, 2024, and it's a Thursday. I'm still not used to doing these on Thursdays. Let's do a mic check, because history will have told us that without doing mic checks, sometimes I sit here and talk to myself for several minutes, if not more. So, mic check, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Twitter, just pop in a mic's good, or mic sucks, or too much echo, or I don't know. I got a Wen Tao. I'm not sure that's a mic check. So, mic is good. All right. Rolling. Okay, so this is called an AMA. That means ask me anything. Should be self-explanatory. I don't know. Low volume otherwise. Okay, we'll knock it up a notch here. How's that? There might be a bit of echo still, but let's see. All right, so if you guys have some more mic feedback, go for it. Anyway, AMA, ask me anything. You ask a question, I answer it. It can be about Coinmetro. Hopefully it is. That's what I'm here for. But if you want to ask me something else, have at it. If it's financial, still really good. Economics, whatever. If you want to ask me how I got this fantastic hairstyle today, or how much gel I needed to use in mousse, or what my combination ratio of mousse to gel is, then, have at it as well. It's fine. All right, let's jump right in. JX19ZZ. I started pre-reading names. You'll see a name coming up here that I remember I read one out loud once that was like a joke. The name in itself was a joke, and I didn't pick the joke up. So I felt like an actual boomer, not like what they call boomers on what people consider boomers, which is like anybody older than 15 now or something. But an actual person that was born after World War II. That's how old I felt. So now I pre-read names. We got a good one coming up, which I won't say out loud, but you can read it at home, in front of the kids. Because if you haven't started them yet, you might as well just get started. Hi Kevin, do you believe in 2024 bull market? So I would say many signs point to, at some point in 2024, starting to see an actual bull market in crypto. What does that mean? Well, if we're talking about traditional markets, bull market is a plus 20%. That in crypto is like Tuesday between 415 and 418. So I think generally speaking, a bull market in crypto really has to do more with how much you hear about crypto in let's say, traditional media. What traditional media is talking about, getting close, if not surpassing all-time highs. That's when you start to feel bullish in crypto. So you got a U.S. election coming up, or we're in the midst of. The economy is going to be billed as doing good, or even fantastic, even if it's not. Rates may see a cut this year. I predicted we would see cuts in 2024. I still think we might, even though you may be hearing other things in the news right now. Things can change. Not to mention that 4-year cycles in crypto so far have proven to be accurate. That 4-year cycle usually starts about 6 months after the Bitcoin halving. Bitcoin is going to halve in April. So that would mean October, Q4, would start the next bull run, bull extension, happy fun time, whatever you want to call it. At the same time, Q4, there's only been 2 Q4s since Bitcoin was launched back in 2008 that sucked. One was very recent, and one I think was 2014. So yeah, I think we will see a bull market. I don't think we're in one yet, but I do think we're going to see one. Baconized asking when everything soon. All right, so here's the name I'm not going to read out, but like I said, get all the kids, and then read it real slow a few times. See who giggles first. That's the one you need to be careful with. Hey Kevin, I was doing 70 in a school zone. Do you think I can bribe the cops with XCM to take points off my license? Thanks in advance. I think if you're a good cop briber, you should be able to bribe with XCM. Sure. Depends on where you are as well in the world, I guess. But you shouldn't do 70 in a school zone, man. Come on. I mean, if it's on the weekend, who cares, right? I mean, if the kid's at school on the weekend, he's probably not going to have the brightest futures. Oh, man. I don't know if that's going to get me canceled. But here we go. Afternoon, sir. Hey, Jack. How are you? Hopefully good. Wen Tao? Soon. Mike is good. Thank you very much. Too much echo. So Victor coming through with too much echo. Now, there may be even more echo now. Let's see. All right, I don't really see. All right, so we're going to keep it as good. Hopefully, within the next, by the time I do the next AMA, I think I'll have the echo thing sorted. So, low volume otherwise. Okay, so I did raise the volume a little bit. All right. I should read these first. I don't know what I'm doing. Any update on the CV Reflect tram compensation XCM? Hey, Charlie. Not as of yet, though I think, actually, well, no update. I guess I should say no update. That's kind of the whole answer to this question. But ask me again in a month, and I'll make a note of that, literally. Keep a screenshot of this one, and I will update you. Which country are you in? All right, here. Let's see how good the sleuths are on the internet here. There we go. You see that? So every country has its usually local brands of water. So let's see who figures it out first. Little game for you Thursday afternoon. Hey Arjun, how are you? Nice to see you here. How is Coinmetro staying afloat at the moment? How are we staying afloat? Treasury. That's how we're staying afloat. As I mentioned about, I don't know how many months ago, we had about 6 months. We've continued to kind of maintain that 6-month threshold, raising a bit of money, but also reducing cost and increasing revenue. The last one is probably the most important. Update on big announcement for the first quarter. I did give an announcement in our shareholder group, so if you're lucky enough to be a Coinmetro group shareholder, you got some tidbits. And now I see a few shareholders kind of fighting amongst themselves on things they think we might tell them later, which is kind of fun to watch. But nothing yet publicly, but we're getting there. When can we see good liquidity on Coinmetro Exchange and active trading of XCM? Well, liquidity in general, I think, is pretty decent on Coinmetro. If you're specifically talking about XCM, yes. So, with that, what somebody just asked about the big announcement coming up in Q1. With that, somebody driving like a truck full of monkeys down the road or something. With that, we also have a broader plan because the big announcement has a lot to do with the future of Coinmetro, the next 5 years. It also has to do with the transition for us to hit one of our original goals was to be the people's exchange, right? So part and parcel of that is XCM. XCM is a big part. There's a few pieces that tie directly to XCM, which are going to help XCM get more utility, which is going to help XCM get more liquidity, and which will help XCM trade like it used to, and far beyond that in the future. So that plan will kick off at the end of Q1 into Q2. The plan is 5 years long, but the XCM portion, I believe you will start to see fruits Q3, or I should say noticeable fruits of that labor Q3, Q4. But I think you will see a change immediately after it's launched, within a few weeks. So which means you're going to start to see changes into Q1, into Q2, and then much more change, I believe, Q3, Q4. Hi, Kevin. Who will win at the Oscars this year? Didn't they already do the Oscars? I don't know. I saw something about people still watch the Oscars? It's funny. I have no idea. I did read some controversy. I didn't read the story because why would you read the story after reading the headline? But I did see something about Barbie getting snubbed on Oscars. Then I thought, people really thought Barbie should get an Oscar. I don't know, man. The last movie I remember getting an Oscar was like, a movie that took, time to write, somebody's creativeness to shine. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I did see Barbie, but I tell you one thing I didn't think when I was sitting through watching Barbie was, this is fucking Oscar worthy. That didn't pop through my head. But maybe it did for other people. I don't know. Biggest hurdle to overcome for Coinmetro in the first half of 2024. Well, one of the biggest hurdles would be to make sure that everybody knows now that the M should not be capitalized. So hopefully KB 603, the next time you ask a question, you won't capitalize the M, and then, problem solved. I'm not worried anymore about 2024, and I'm a happy camper. Aside from that, Well, like everything, right? We're still raising money. We're still looking to make sure we raise a certain amount of capital to make sure that we get through 2024 and end 2024 not just sustainable but profitable. So that's still a hurdle. It always is a hurdle. It's been a hurdle. It'll continue to be a hurdle. That's a hurdle. Growth, but when looking at numbers across the entire crypto sphere, you will notice that profitability and just overall wellness of the businesses tie very closely to Bitcoin price. Bitcoin price goes up, revenues go up. Bitcoin price go down, revenues go down. So just seeing a better market will help us get over a lot of hurdles. Getting into that sustainability and profitability mode obviously will get us around a lot of hurdles. Growth, like I said, in general is not a hurdle because I don't think it's something necessarily difficult, though I guess I'm not a hurdler. For me, jumping over a hurdle might be pretty fucking difficult, but for somebody who runs hurdles, I guess not. Unless you're like the 100th hurdle. That's the hard one, right? First one, no problem. Anyway, so growth is always kind of a bit of a hurdle, but definitely fundraising is another one. Yeah, and if you really want to get down into the weeds and talk about stuff, then I would say continuing to hire the right people and putting them in the right roles is always a hurdle. It's not just about 2024. What keeps you up at night regarding work and life? Regarding work, I would say excitement keeps me up at night. So when things, whether they're going good or not so good, or great or not so great, knowing what we're going to do next and how we're going to get to that next level, and the plans we have that get me excited, that make me happy, I get to wake up the next morning and think about this stuff all over again, is what keeps me up. A younger me, when I had hair, would get stressed out about a lot of things about business, and then I realized at one point that stressing out doesn't help me solve problems. So I just changed the way I look at things, and so yeah, it's the excitement that keeps me up. When it comes to my personal life, what keeps me up? Having kids and just worrying about them, and having family and worrying about them, and I guess the normal things that stress everybody out or keep everybody up at night. But I have to say I sleep pretty good. So, generally speaking, I don't really stay up late at night. It doesn't mean I don't stay up late. So I've been known to be a night owl, and I used to get, I think, my best work done, between like 1 and 4 a.m. An older me, though, it's not 1 and 4 a.m. anymore. But every now and again I stay up late. But it's not, it's not because I'm worried about something. Wasn't 20 to 40K in 2023 pretty bullish already? Hey Victor, so from a standard definition, like I said, a traditional definition of a bull market, sure. But, in reality for crypto, no. Because, we're still a good ways away from the all-time high. We had this huge ETF news that everybody and their grandmother was talking about for 2.5, 3 years, maybe even longer than that. And then it happens, and, nobody really seems to care. Now, I kind of knew that was going to happen, but at the end of the day, it deflated the sales a bit, I think, of retail in general. So I'm not saying, getting from 20 to 40K in 2023 was not a bad deal, but I don't think it was enough to put us into a crypto bull market. Are we in a traditional bull market? Yeah, we've never left it, really. If we go traditional on both sides, both bear and bull, we jump back between bear and bull markets in a much tighter time frame than 4 years. However, if you zoom out and look at a chart of Bitcoin from its inception, when have we not been in a bull market, would be the question. How many CM employees? We have, I think, 54, if I'm not mistaken. Any acquisition plans for 2024? Not yet. No. We have a lot of plans for 2024. I would say it's our best planned year since inception, which is exciting. One of those things that, keeps me up at night. I don't know. How many times have I done this show so far? Like 12? Man, air quotes. Is that a boomer thing now? Is that a boomer thing? That used to be cool. It's probably not cool anymore. I'm going to stop doing it. Do you have any view on decentralized cloud compute? I would say cloud compute already is decentralized to a certain extent, if not, well, as decentralized as probably decentralized cloud compute. You know, I guess you, Jack, and me were both old enough to remember torrents, you know, downloading, oh shit, this new movie came out, let me download it. It takes fucking 12 days. And then the one asshole's got like 1 bit of it. His computer goes offline, and then you gotta wait even longer to get the next guy who might have that 1 bit. Anyway, point for me to say is that it's nothing new. I think it's a spin on something old. Now, incentivizing people by way of tokenization of decentralized cloud compute. As I've said this in the past, tokenization is cool. I think many companies will tokenize themselves. Tokenization to give incentive, which is essentially what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is a decentralized computation source that essentially gives you a coin in this case, but is a token by definition of tokenization for it to incentivize you to become part of that massive network. And that's why it exists, and that's why it's still here, to be honest. And so, you know, clouds are decentralized anyway, but incentivizing people to use them, and also incentivizing people to actually spend money to compete with others, which creates a more secure and bigger cloud, is interesting. Shiny and bold. Yeah. Well, I am kind of shiny. So I should get some of that. I should get some of that matte, you know. I need a makeup artist is what I need. I don't know if anybody out there wants to volunteer. Which projects on cloud compute have you tried? Well, Flux. We actually use Flux to run our Flux nodes. Never had any downtime. Other than that, personally, haven't used one. If I make money in the next bull market, can I safely leave cash with Coinmetro until the next bear market to buy? Yes. Though, I would say, just because I want to make sure that I'm, you know, covering, let's say, I don't want to say yes just because I'm the CEO of Coinmetro and it's my business, right? So, you should never leave assets anywhere that if they were to disappear, you would be in a terrible financial position. Simple as that. Coinmetro, whether that's Coinmetro, whether that's your bank, whether that's in, you know, even when it comes to hardware wallets, don't put all your assets in one wallet address, in one hardware wallet, right? Because again, it's the same thing. That doesn't mean, you know, you can spread yourself, you can kind of allocate to too many sources as well, right? That reduces your risk in one area, which is if one has an issue, you have 99 others, but it also can complicate the admin and potentially lead to even more risk. So anyway, the point is that yes, but you know, you should always take safety precautions regardless of how secure something is. There are currently 11,500 users holding XCM. You know the drill. Does one XCM make you an XCM holder with that definition, or is there a minimum amount? One XCM makes you an XCM holder. So yes, one. Just like any protocol that counts wallet addresses, actually, in those cases, you could have, well, actually I don't know in all those cases, but generally speaking, you own one asset, you are a holder by any definition, I believe. Thoughts on partnerships with crypto influencers might be good for volume. We've actually done some things with crypto influencers just in the recent past with some of these raffles that we've done. And we will continue to work with influencers. So, you know, there are good and bad influencers, just like there's good and bad everything. And just like most things in the world, the majority of stuff out there is shit, right? But that doesn't mean there aren't good influencers. That doesn't mean there aren't honest influencers. That doesn't mean there aren't hardworking influencers that do their job and, you know, that we're willing to partner with. And we have, and we will continue to. What are my thoughts on new KDA? You mean the design or just new KDA in general? I like the fact that Kadena has cleaned up a bit their workforce. I think they got rid of at least one person that was toxic within their business, and that's good for their business, 100%. A new logo and stuff. I can't say that it's better than the old one. I can't say love it, hate it. I don't know. It's a logo. Won't make me stop holding KDA. You know, wouldn't make me buy any more either. You know, I mean, new logo, right? So, but I don't know what your specific question is. Barbie was disgusting. What about Oppenheimer? I didn't see Oppenheimer, but I know the story. So, but I haven't seen the movie. But let me know if it's a good one to watch. I'll look it out. But yeah, Barbie, I don't get it. I mean, that seems to me like, oh shit, we need to nominate somebody from this movie because people are going to get pissed. Because now, you know, people getting pissed somehow makes people change their minds about stuff, which is a bit ridiculous. Any new projects for listing in the pipeline? Yes, always new projects we now have a project manager specifically for listings that feeds things to our listing committee. We are revamping the way that we look at listings so that we can move a bit quicker. Absolutely, yes, 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 and yes. Jack again. Hey Jack, which of the EU latest regulations worry you, MiCA or others? MiCA doesn't, MiCA, sorry. Seeing as there's an A at the end, I guess it's MiCA, actually. But I like to say MiCA. But I don't know, MiCA, it's like potato. Anyway, I'm not worried about MiCA. However, there's going to be some pains when it's implemented, that's for sure. And I don't mean Coinmetro pains, I just mean market in general. There's always questions, there's always things that aren't answered, there's always open questions, there's always kind of just difficulties when new regulation comes in, and then inevitably it will change and or get clarity. I still think we're within this range, the crypto market, where we could lose sight of what's important. ETF is a bit of losing sight of what's important, to be honest. As we can see, most of the inflow is just partially the outflow from expensive products into cheaper products. I don't really think there's been a huge amount of inflow outside of outflow and otherwise people that just said, oh, I'll buy the ETF because I was going to buy Bitcoin through a regulated custodian anyway, and this is cheaper. Yeah, I don't think it sparked interest necessarily because it came way too late. If this was years ago, it might have made a difference. It's also putting a bit more power into traditional players' hands, which is not really what Bitcoin was invented to do. But inevitable, unfortunately. So this whole thing about maintaining access, making sure that normal people, regular people can still take advantage of what's great about this market, can get access to product and services that may exist in traditional markets, but they don't have access to, and they've been regulated out to protect them. Sorry, I had to do it one more time. Air quotes. Maybe you should just listen to the audio of this thing and not look at the video. Then you don't have to see the air quotes every 15 seconds. That's my worry for the crypto market. Still is my worry for the crypto market. And while I see smart people, you know, I see Eric Voorhees really pushing. I see ex-CEO of Kraken, you know, pushing. But I see other CEOs in big businesses not really giving a shit, and that's worrying because, you know, we need to tote the line. You have to tote the line a little bit. You have to be, you know, getting in good with regulators is not a bad thing, but you also need to make sure, or try and make sure, that the reason we all came here doesn't just go away for the reason that we need to make money. Do you still enjoy running Coinmetro? What's your favorite and least favorite aspect? I do. I do enjoy running Coinmetro. I would say that, well, from a personal thing, you know, these type of things I love to do. I love the visionary side of the business. I love the creation side of the business. I love selling the business. I like talking to people about the business. I like speaking about things. I generally like to be the face of the company, and I like to be the vision behind the company. And while through my career, I've definitely been operational, I'm not the best manager, let's say, right? I can lose sight of things like, you know, one-on-ones. I can lose sight of the smaller picture while focusing on the big picture. And that doesn't mean I can't do it, but it's just not, you know, I've learned, I guess, about myself that I just don't like doing it that much. If someone chases me, I'm there. If they don't, and so for me, it's not that it's not my least favorite, but I almost did the air quotes again. But it's not that it's my least favorite, but it's something that I would love to find a great person to focus on, either as like a co-CEO or I don't know what, and really just put my creative juices behind what I'm really good at and what I enjoy doing. What's your relationship with the IRS? I.e., if I earn rewards for staking, do you report it to the IRS? We don't have a relationship with the IRS, so we don't voluntarily report to any tax authority. Now, if we get a knock on the door with a judicial order, then, well, we're a regulated business. But we don't have a relationship with the IRS or any other tax authority in that sense. I understand you can't really divulge details, but can you give any indication of how you plan to improve the XCM book? We've talked about a lot of these things already, so I would say revamping some of the things. I'm trying not to give anything away here. This is difficult. Some of this stuff is coming relatively quickly as well. So revamping some of the aspects of our tokenomics, bringing in market makers, plural, retooling some of the products that are tied to XCM, more marketing, more partnerships. Yeah, I think those are several of the ways, and there are more, but it's a bespoke approach with many spokes. When will Ignium finally be fixed for logging in? Many promises have been done now, but nothing seems to happen. I need to withdraw funds ASAP, AMBB. So, Ignium is a bit of a difficult situation for a few reasons. One, when we decided, well, I should say when I decided, and I got a lot of flack for this one, but when I decided that we should jump in and save Ignium from going bankrupt, I was the only, well, I was one of two board members that voted for it, but in terms of shareholding, I was the only majority shareholder that voted for it. And it cost a good amount of money in comparison to what we had, liquid. But I didn't want to see it go under. Shortly after that, the banking partner that we were using at Coinmetro, where Ignium had a sub-account, was closed abruptly. And Coinmetro needs to focus on Coinmetro first, and so that's what we've been doing. And while we have been able to find a solution, which took some time for banking on Ignium, it needs to be implemented. And from a business standpoint, Ignium doesn't cover its own costs and doesn't have any real viability to bring in more revenue in the short term or medium term without a full Coinmetro integration. So from a business standpoint, it leaves us a bit stuck. Now, being able to withdraw funds, you should be able to do that now. Just get in touch with Coinmetro. We have a way we can move funds to you if you need to withdraw from Ignium. No issue. As far as getting the services back up and running, there have been a few problems within the infrastructure, and no one that created that infrastructure still works at Ignium. And so we've had to retool a lot of the stuff with our main sysops guy. And 2 weeks ago, said 80% chance that he was going to get through it that week. It's the same thing, it was the same thing the week after that. It is now prioritized internally. We're going to fix those issues. Inside of this big project that's going to be 5 years long, but within 2024, getting Ignium integrated into Coinmetro is part of the plan, and you will see Ignium come alive with in a few ways. So I'd apologize to everyone that's been stuck, whether wanting to launch maybe more bonds, or whether you want to allow tradability again so people can withdraw funds and deposit funds, etc. I get the pain. From a business standpoint, it's difficult. We will fix it. The other alternative was that Ignium just went bankrupt, and thus you wouldn't have been able to trade any of those assets anyway. They would have went off platform, would have made a absolute compliance nightmare because they probably would be deemed securities, and you'd be trading them in, I don't know, OTC markets, which would generally be illegal. So it gets difficult. Now, under EU law, US law, obviously there's some gray area there, but it wouldn't have been a better solution. Maybe it would have been quicker, but I think the solution at the end of the day, or the result at the end of the day, would have been worse. Do you agree that Coinmetro needs to become great for scalping big volumes in order to copy social trading to properly work? No. But what I would say is, and I've said this maybe not a million times, 437 times maybe, in that volume is not liquidity, liquidity is not volume, they're not the same. We have liquidity providers that scale with our volumes. And so what happens though are gaps in time when liquidity providers go offline, and thus spreads can widen, and or there's market volatility. What we need to do is really aggregate some of our liquidity providers so they can price at the same time. What I would say is the better we get at aggregation and the better we get at refresh. Now you notice the refresh rates, if you haven't noticed on the app, etc., are amazingly better than they were just recently, and they're going to get better, even better over time. Now that we've segmented a lot of these projects that we have into different project managers, there's going to be a lot more focus, there's going to be a lot more laser focus by those project managers on these type of things. What I would say is that we will get better. We've always gotten better. You know, I guess the kind of getting better kind of looks like this, you know, but at the end of the day, the trajectory is up and to the right on most things. What does Bitpanda have that we don't, justifying their volume? More clients. That's it. Aren't the new tiers supposed to be out in 30-ish days? Baconized? Yep. ETA for XCM volume. I think I just answered that in the last question. Regarding cloud compute, Render, Akash, and Okta have to be listed on Coinmetro simply because many people like them, even when they won't ever compete in cost efficiency in AWS. We have some we have some crowd-liked cloud compute platforms that will be listed. One is currently being worked on, so we're getting there, Victor. When price floor getting removed? Hey, Myron. We've been in discussion a lot about XCM, as I've talked about already. And I promised lots of buyers that the price floor would not be removed unless price could buoy that same floor. We've been talking a lot about what we're going to do to make sure that happens. And what I can tell you is that those talks are only getting more and more detailed and deeper. And with this project that's coming up, you will see changes in the XCM book. How are hybrid sex DEX plans working? Still on the roadmap? Yep, still on the roadmap. With what we're putting together, we will be going hybrid in more ways than one. Let's put it that way. Any uses for generative AI and large language models at Coinmetro? Of course, I don't think there's any business that, even I don't care if you sell cookies out of the backseat of your car, there's always going to be data, and data can always use language models and generative AI. When it comes to trading, you know, if everybody was using generative AI on trading, there would be no volatility. And so, you know, eventually. But yes, there absolutely are. We do use AI at Coinmetro behind the scenes, and I think over time you're going to see that more front and center, and maybe even have the ability to utilize it as a client. Favorite animal? Jesus. Giraffe, I think. I like the giraffe. I'm a fan of giraffes. Sir, my XCM bags are so heavy, sir. Can't redeem. Can devs do the needful? Actually, funny enough, some work to get XCM back up and trading as we all want it to be is dev related, and they absolutely are working and helping to do the needful. Victor, the issue with Barbie was basically man versus woman polarized instead of working together in harmony. Yeah, that's true. Matriarchal to patriarchal society. Yeah. It's just not an Oscar-worthy movie, I think. But maybe I'm old school, I don't know. when DCA feature, also in the works. There's one or two things that are going to happen that are going to improve a few of the flows on Coinmetro before DCA comes out, but it's coming. Popping in just to say hi, thanks for all the good work. Thank you, Crypto Junkie, appreciate it. Barbie is Solana, Oppenheimer is Bitcoin. All right. About crypto influencers, the only three I suggest are Paul Barron, Coin Bureau, and Coinsider, or Co-Insider. That would need a hyphen probably. Yeah, well, I don't know all three of those, but I'll take your word on it, Victor. How do you value a company using a discounted cash flow method, the comparable company analysis CCA method? Oh, how do you value a company? Are you asking me how those things work or how we value? I notice it's the same, the name I'm not going to mention. I don't know if I really want to go into different ways of valuation of companies. If you're asking how we value our company, it's partially discounted cash flow, but it has a few other differentials. You know, there is about 7 or 8 ways that companies are valued. But I don't know if you're just asking me to define those things or tell you how they work. Those 3 guys would give you tons of views. I'm sure they would. Anybody knows them, please reach out. By the way, thoughts about Telegram's Tom. I kind of like it simply because of the platform. The MetaZuck definitely needs competition. Yeah, and I think, you know, it was also, it also showed a little bit about how Telegram works when they were able to basically refund, what was it, like $1 billion that they raised? If I remember, $500 million or whatever it was a lot of money. And we all use Telegram here, right? So I'm a fan of Telegram. I'm a fan of tokenization of Telegram. And I think monetization of Telegram should come next, and the Tom token can play a role. So, yeah. What do you believe would be a fair allocation and percentage between alts and BTC? I fear that not enough BTC will remain on exchanges. I would love your input and experience in previous bull markets. Well, I would say that if you're, what you should do, right? If you're, let's say, now, this isn't an allocation percentage of your entire portfolio. Let's say your crypto portfolio specifically, which should be a certain percentage of your overall portfolio based on your risk appetite, your age, etc. But let's not get into that one. Let's just go into this. Now, I'm not going to say this isn't, you know, investment advice, because saying it doesn't mean a fucking thing. But I'm going to give you my opinion on this. All right, it's my opinion. My opinion is that you do not need to put a big percentage of your money into altcoins. The reason being is that altcoins have the ability to 10x, 100x, 1000x. Bitcoin at this point probably does not, at least not in your lifetime, short term, whatever, right? So, I mean, 10x, you know, I guess within your lifetime, depending on how old you are, yeah, that's a possibility, but nothing, you know, you're not going to see 1000x on Bitcoin. So, if you have, say, 100% of your crypto portfolio and you have 90% of it, 80% of it sitting in Bitcoin or ETH or some major, I would say ETH is probably going to outperform Bitcoin this cycle, but we will see. The reason for that is Bitcoin outperformed ETH so far in this kind of transition from bear to bull. I would expect ETH to play catch up and then do quite well in comparison to Bitcoin probably through this bull market. So anyway, the point is that if you take 10% of your portfolio, let's say as an idea, and you stick that into a basket that eventually the entire basket, the whole of that basket, does a 20x, that's essentially like you getting a 2x on your entire 100% portfolio with 80% in Bitcoin or ETH or wherever. And so I would say no more than 20% in ETH, in alts, the rest in majors. Now you can pick, your major can be anything maybe inside of the top 10 that you feel is a more or less a safe haven. I should say a crypto, there we go again. A crypto safe haven, which is not like a safe haven in the regular world, but is less volatile than those alts. Why are the competitions not including the UK, and will it always be £3 to withdraw pounds? They seem to be being 1. Hey, empower the people. So, when it comes to competitions, we can't directly advertise. We can't advertise in the UK. We can't solicit in the UK, and that's part of the FCA's new rules. Once we have licensing in the UK, which maybe end of this year, if not into early next year, then that'll change. It was £1, you're right. We revamped our deposit and withdrawal prices, basically to be more in line with competition, and also to focus where, to make money where we actually have strength, which is instantaneous pound and euro withdrawals on the SEPA and faster payments networks. Free deposits, so no longer paying for deposits, slightly more on withdrawals. So far, that seems to have been well received by our client base as well as the business in general. So for now, that's going to remain as such, but just know that whether you withdraw £100 or 10 million pounds, it's free, which I think is quite competitive. Also, do you know any good hemorrhoid cream brands? Never had one. Hopefully never will. But if you have some experience, feel free. I bought XCM shares. Where are they now? How do I cash out if I want to? So XCM tokens are not shares, Sandro. Where are they now? I think maybe you're referring to you bought actual shares in the company, maybe through our bond offering or just directly. Ignium right now being down means that those share purchases are not reflected in your Coinmetro dashboard because the API is down. So they still exist. If you're talking about that, they can be liquidated through the Ignium platform, but right now banking on Ignium is down. And so once that gets back up, you'd be able to move those funds out if you wanted to sell. If you're talking about XCM, then I've already answered that question earlier in the chat. You can press rewind and hear about XCM updates. You can always DM me as well on Telegram if you like. That's Kevin Murcko, KevinMurcko. Please make sure it's me and not Kevin Murcko 12520, 2 E's, 3 I's, whatever. There's usually a lot of fake Kevins out there. When we implement the new tier system very soon, hopefully you increase the maximum from 50 to a lot harder, creating incentive to buy more. Well, I'm not sure raising the maximum is going to push people to buy more unless we have rewards that are valued at more than 30,000 euro as per current price. What I can tell you is there's a big revamp coming. It's very interesting. It's completely different to what it is now, and I believe it's going to be well received. I see you are further preparing for the Bill Burr Doppelganger. Locked in the basement of Coinmetro office building to protect the stage routine. That's real dedication. Kudos. Yeah, you're welcome. You're absolutely welcome for that. How many of the 54 employees are full-time? How many are solely customer service reps? Well, customer service reps are full-time, by the way. Out of those 54, I think they're all full-time. There might be 1 or 2 that are part-time, but generally all full-time employees. How many are customer service reps? I think 9, 10, something like that. Withdrawing funds from me is not possible unless the login works. I've been in touch with Ignium support for a while now, but they can't let me withdraw unless the login works. Got it, MVB. We're working on it, and I do think very, very shortly it's going to come back online. I've seen the latest updates. What I was trying to say was that I didn't want people to get the impression that there was some issue with withdrawing other than the current technical issue with the login. It is out of your plans to offer leverage future markets. Currently, yes, because that requires additional licensing, Sandro, and we don't want to offer a product that without licensing that requires it. You are welcome, empower the people. I just got here. Have you been kidnapped by ISIS? Blink twice if you need help. No. Hey Lou, haven't been kidnapped by ISIS. At least not yet. Fingers crossed that that doesn't happen. Not sure why ISIS would want to kidnap me though. Have I said anything bad about ISIS on the show? I mean, I might have said something bad about them at one point, but I don't think so. That might have been a hot mic. Hold on 1 second here. Is it rinked? I have no idea what that means. I'm lost, man. That seems to be the last question. Now, I scheduled an hour here, so if you guys want to keep asking questions, I'll wait a minute or two to see if new ones come in. I don't remember the last time I actually got through all the questions without kind of racing through at the end. All right, what is this? 8. I don't know, man. I'm not answering that one because I don't really understand what the question is. What are the areas where tokenization most excites you? So I think there's a lot of basics that tokenization makes exciting. One, you can monetize stuff you couldn't monetize in the past. 2, you can incentivizing people to do things that otherwise that you can gamify at the same time. Liquidity, we haven't really proven that one yet, but I think in the future, you can make illiquid things liquid. Just had a bit of a freeze here. Yeah, not sure I'm coming back on this one. Let's see what's going on here. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I can't even see myself. Still, audio looks good. Yeah. Can hear you, but not... Okay, so at least you can hear me. That's a good thing. Let's try to change... Let me try to change the camera. There we go. All right. Jesus. Anyway, I think I don't know what happened there. That might be ISIS tapping into my internet connection. What are the areas that most excite? I think I covered most of them and completely lost my tokenization train of thought as I, fell offline there for a second. Let's jump to the next question. Any plans for more assets on Mars? Yes, we are looking at ways to make Mars more exciting and not just about staking. Would you rather fight 1,000 ant-sized bulls or 1 bull-sized ant? 1,000 ant-sized bulls, 100%. Because a bull-sized ant would just eat me in a half a second. 1,000 ant-sized bulls would just have little horns that could cause remedial damage. So definitely 1,000 ant-sized bulls. Only correct answer. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Lou. With gold possibly being replaced by BTC eventually, would you think silver as an investment, considering it's a very important component? Silver has more industrial uses than gold. So regardless, I think silver is a good investment and is just undervalued in many ways. It's harder to mine and there's less of it. But gold, which there's more of and easier to mine, depending on the depth of the gold, where the gold is shiny and it's gold. And well, there you go. So I would say that I don't think gold's going to be replaced by BTC because it can't be. I mean, for a store of value, you can make that argument, but obviously gold is still used in manufacturing, and gold is used in jewelry, and gold is used in medical devices, and gold is used, lots of things, electronics, etc. So, BTC, you're not going to buy an HDMI cable that has a BTC, endpoint. But silver is a good investment, I think, yes. You should have it in your portfolio if you're into commodities. Okay, I think I solved that. Anything moving in regards to large funding tickets? Yeah, there's stuff moving along. It's Bitcoin price went up, got easier. Bitcoin price, a little bit of, ETF, getting a bit, people wondering if it's going to make a long-term change. And, that literally means that, your messages take longer to be answered. But yes, there is some movement, and hopefully there will be, for you shareholders out there, I'm going to be announcing the shareholders meeting in a couple of days, and it'll be now pegged to the end of February. And hopefully we'll have some news at that time, and then you guys, trickle down some news to you guys as well. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I turned my mic off to see if I could turn it back on, and Oliver's picture showed up. Anyway, nice. Yeah, very nice. Okay. Once again, we got some new ones. We got new ones coming in. Very good. I'm sure an ant is more powerful than a bull. Absolutely. By size, there's no comparison. There's no way you'd want to fight a bull-sized ant because, again, you just die. There's no winning. You would die. How do you see potential of quant and flux? I've never been the biggest fan of quant. And I've explained why in the past. I don't really get why. Now, before I say this, let me just say that I've owned quant in the past. I've sold quant. I don't own quant right now. So I'll throw that out. I don't see why they need their token. The token tokenomics had a lot to do with people needed to buy quant in order to use quant. But a lot of their efforts have gone to talk to the Bank of England, to this bank, to this central bank. Those central banks are not going to buy a token on the Ethereum network to utilize the service. And so I don't really get the need for the token. Having said that, there's no business in the world that needs a token, but tokens can optimize and potentially make businesses stronger, better, etc. Ways to also give back to the user base. I just don't get it with quant, and so I see that. I don't necessarily understand why a central bank would need to communicate with another central bank, especially over a single interoperable source. They have never needed one up to this point. Not sure why they would even want one now, or if they'd even be amenable to talk to each other and communicate. So, but they will absolutely test things out forever if you let them. Flux, I like Flux. I do own some Flux, so I'll throw that out there as well. This seems like, I just shit on quant for no reason. I'm not necessarily shitting on quant. I'm not saying it can't do well. I'm not saying that the price point won't rise. I'm not saying that it's a token you shouldn't have in your portfolio. What I'm saying is that I don't get it. From Flux, their wallet system, decentralized wallet system, all the partnerships they have, more partnerships coming on board, I think is a much more viable business, and I think Flux can do quite well. Would you rather have to listen to your least favorite music for the rest of your life, or have to say the "you" from Crank That Soulja Boy every time you say the word "you"? I definitely pick the second one. I would just stop saying "you." I used to play a game on this show where I would take words that I hate and just try not to say them, like basically. I don't think I said basically in at least 100 shows. So I just stopped saying you. Do you believe Biz? It seems to pop up. Do you browse Biz? Sorry. It seems to pop up a few Coinmetro threads there occasionally. I don't browse Biz. To be honest, I used to browse Twitter a bit, and then, now it's kind of maddening, to be honest. Twitter has become, I don't know what, or X, sorry. So I've kind of stopped browsing. You've noticed I don't post much there anymore. So yeah, I don't get involved in Biz. I think I look at a Biz thread once a year, I shudder a bit, and then I go back into I close the door and go back inside, basically. Is margin lending or something like that coming to Coinmetro? It was envisioned since the beginning, and something like that will eventually come to Coinmetro, yes. 2024 election, Biden-Trump-ish. Trump-Biden-ish, or Kennedy Jr. I think Trump's going to win. I'm not saying I would vote for Trump, but Biden will lose. I think that's fairly obvious now and should be obvious to anybody. Not saying Trump should win. Kennedy would be interesting in the race. If Kennedy were to win a nomination or be on the ticket, that he would probably swing some votes from Trump. But at the end of the day, I don't see anything but a landslide right now. And that's not really because of what's been happening in Iowa or the caucuses or anything like that. I think it's just inevitable. Like it or not, Trump is a change candidate. And that's why he was elected the first time. And it's inevitably why he's going to be elected this time. You're right. Apple uses a ton of gold. And now we have Russia sending planes full of gold to transact oil. Yep. How many burner accounts do you have on TG? None. Don't have a single. I have one account, just one. What's your perspective on THT? I really like THT, and I like what they're doing. They got their, CFO doing their marketing, which is not crypto, man. That's not crypto. I can't say we haven't had a marketing problem in the past either, so I feel for them. But I think if they had the hype machine that some of these other AI tokens have, Thought AI would be worth so much more. I think the day will come. How can Little AI have such a huge potential if their product is only fighting spam on chats? They already have a 5 million market cap. It seems to them insane for what they have. Well, I would say that if you look around crypto, one, I don't think their goals, their plans are just to be a spam fighting bot on Telegram. Imagine all the data that it reads, sees, and filters. Imagine what they can do with that data. Imagine if you had data on every single Telegram group that has to do with crypto. Everything that's talked about, everything that's mentioned, etc., spam and otherwise. That's a lot of data that you could monetize. That's a lot of monetized data that clients could monetize. You could know about whale movements. You could know about every single thing that feeds into Telegram you would be able to use and then utilize in data sets. And so I think they can have a much larger market cap than 5 million. In fact, I'm almost positive they will. So yeah, but let's see what they do. Anti-spam is the first part of the whole suite of community management. Yep, there you go. Yeah, I used to use basically a lot as well, and essentially, some of those LY words just eat my brain, I think. Can you stop saying "to be honest"? Yes. Let's do it. No "to be honest" for the next 10 shows. All right, here we go. I can't say it's not fun sometimes to be on Twitter. I read so much garbage on Twitter over the last few weeks and months that I think I'm stupider. Thanks for all you do. Looking forward to bright future for Coinmetro next Sam. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. All right. Well, I guess that's up for debate. I cannot say the 3 words. Can I still say honestly? Let's see. Put it up for debate. Let me know on Telegram. XCM becomes a liquid immediately, but you can never ride Space Mountain. Oof. I'd go with XCM, man, for you guys. I would take that one for you guys. It'd be rough, but I would take that one on the chin for you. Don't have any thoughts. Not even sure what it is. I imagine it's a token, but I haven't looked at it. You're welcome, Victor. Thank you for all the questions. Appreciate it, man. Is there a new KDA program coming to CM? I've heard through the grapevine that there may be another staking or bonding-like program coming to KDA. If it does, I want to support it. And I've made that known to the person that's responsible for staking inside of Coinmetro. So I would say yes, we will. Do you think KDA will reach its previous all-time high at the peak of the upcoming bull run? That's a good question. KDA had a fantastic bull market last time around. I don't think every coin or token is like Bitcoin in that every bull market is going to see a new all-time high. I don't even think Bitcoin will always see a new all-time high. But historically, I believe we have. Well, I guess it depends on how you mark the bull market on your chart. KDA had a fantastic, that would mean roughly a 28x, right, from where it is now, 29x, something like that, 30x. It's possible. I do think it will break and see new all-time highs at some point. It's hard to predict, to make a prediction right now of this current bull market. All right, I got the okay. So honestly is okay, but the other one is great. Have you been invited to any cool podcasts lately like Joe Rogan? I haven't. Joe hasn't reached out. I did get invited on one, and then I halfway ghosted the guy because I got busy and actually got reminded about it today. So I will reach back out to them and hopefully be on a podcast coming up. But yeah, Joe has been responding to my late night WhatsApps, man. Sad. Well, it's good for Dexes. I don't know, man. Better order books would be good for Dexes. I don't know what SEI does, but all right, we're coming up on 59 minutes and 30 seconds, so I'm going to give my little bye-bye statement. As you know, it's Thursday, so it's not Friday, but have a great weekend, everybody. Have a great Friday. Get some work done on Friday. Knock out the Friday so that your weekend can feel just, allow yourself to rest. I know if I do a lot on a Friday, or I think I did at least, I feel a lot better on the weekend. If I don't do shit on a Friday, then I feel like an asshole over the weekend. So, shit and asshole in the same sentence. I don't know how I do it, man. Anyway, so, get some stuff done tomorrow. Feel great over the weekend. And buy some XCN, because lots of great things are coming. And why should I even explain myself at this point? Just buy some XCM. Let's get that wall crushed. And see you guys here next month at this point. Lots of good things coming. There's always good things coming, but there is a buildup of excitement coming, I believe, at Coinmetro that is almost not explainable. And I usually don't have a loss for words. So have a great weekend, everybody. See you here shortly. You can tag me on Telegram at Kevin Murcko. You can also tweet me or X me, or X me sounds terrible. I don't know. I guess it's still tweet, right? Have we come up with? Has there been a new vernacular? I don't think so. So tweet me on X at Kevin Murcko as well. Make sure it's the right person. It's KEVINMURCKO. If there's a 1 in there, 2 E's in there, a couple numbers in there, it's not me. And if someone, there's been a rash of Kevins asking for money. I don't ask for money. So if you get a tweet from me or a telegram asking to invest in something or some, I don't know, whatever, it's not me. Now, if you get a pitch deck, that could be me. Anyway, have a great weekend, everybody. Cheers, and thanks for all the support. I really do appreciate it. And I'm going to continue spending time with you guys as long as you're willing to spend time with me. Cheers. Someday I'm going to get good at pressing this button so I can time it right. But anyway.